Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In roughly 1996, here in the States, Nintendo released the Nintendo 64 N64 console system. And what followed afterwards was a lot of gizmos to sell Nintendo products. This item you see right in front of me being one of those items. Okay. This is a N64 branded alarm clock / AM FM radio, and as you can see by the sticker here, it's listed as water resistant. We'll see the reason why maybe not so much the case, at least with how this was sold to me on eBay, because it was sold broken. Honest seller, good broken, and we're going to try to fix this and restore it. Now, if y'all were around for the console wars era, yeah, that's the word. You're talking about the time when a lot of the older generation was coming off a 16-bit Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all that stuff, and we hit the 32-bit console wars between Sega, Sony came into the fray, and Nintendo released the N64. Me, being older and more sophisticated gentleman at the time, decided that the Sony PlayStation was the console of choice for me. Of course, my younger brother, big fan of Nintendo and has always been, he eventually went on to, I think he got an N64 for Christmas one year, or saved up some money doing chores or something along those lines. So actually him and my sister both got the N64, and I think I was the only oddball out of the bunch to get a Sony. And I've been, for lack of better words, a pretty strong Sony fanboy since the PlayStation 1. I worked all summer farming, saved up all my money just to buy one. And I was very happy with my purchase, and would always often say CD is better than hard storage, solid state. Of course, we're kind of going in reverse now. CD media going away, since solid state devices like cartridges have the capacity to hold a lot of memory. So it's pretty weird how cyclical life can be sometimes. I'll just put it that way. Anyways, this, like I said, I bought off of eBay, broken, and we can open up the back and you can see exactly the reason why. Look at our battery prongs. Actually, I'll turn this around and get it closer to the other camera. They are all rusted and corroded. This is super nasty. So yeah, we have corrosion, and you can see where we have a gasket here that would have tried to make the battery cover as watertight as possible, but it is most likely given the fact that this was marketed as water safe or resistant, good for shower, that maybe this product didn't live up to that name per se, or maybe the back cover just wasn't on tight enough to create that seal to keep water off the battery terminals. Now, the battery terminals being corroded, you can buy replacement terminals off of eBay, just generic ones. We could probably cut them to size if need be and make them work for this. So I think ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on cleaning this up a bit. I'm going to tear this down, and we're going to try to at least power it with my bench top power supply over here to see if we can get the radio working, and we'll go from there. Obviously, this is probably going to be a bit destructive, taking this apart. So I don't imagine we're going to have the water resistance that we had in the past, but who knows? Yeah, let's try to get this repaired and working. Maybe we'll run into some other issues other than corroded battery terminals that need to be replaced. Okay, taking this thing apart was a tad bit of a nightmare. I will say, don't bother with any front knobs trying to find if there's any nuts holding the clamshell together, because there's not, and there's a lot of grease down in there. You got a rubber O-ring down inside of here, so I actually have to fully disassemble this to get this to depress and seat back in the way it should. This operating, of course, the on, off, and volume control. So that must be volume. There goes off. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to stay in. So I have to remove our little AM, FM radio transmitter from here, and actually probably this entire piece, just to get that knob back on. There were little blue plastic items, I guess pegs recessed down in each side that just crumbled when I pressed on them. The plastics have gotten super old. As a matter of fact, I noticed how old the plastics were when I was prying on the edge. It just started to crumble really bad. So I wouldn't ever say that this little Nintendo Gizmo is water safe anymore. The plastics themselves are too old. They've dried out. They've become very, very brittle, to say the least. Of course, that single screw is still stuck in there, so maybe I can fish out that last screw. There we go. It's out. And of course, you can see what remains of these little pieces. I mean, there goes a few right there. So I'm going to have to clean up my bench. But at least now that I have it apart. Okay, one last thing to note. Yes, the blue pieces are very brittle. The plastic has gotten very brittle. But we can clean all this up now and replace those pegs. The last piece that holds it in is this little plastic piece right here. This gear, which essentially fits over top of this, and that's used for setting the alarm and the time. Okay, so here's everything concerning the clock. This is pressed in over the plastic. Be very careful if you're separating the clamshell. You need to come across at equal force to get this to pop out from there. I used a clamshell to do it. Otherwise, you run the risk of breaking this plastic tip piece off right here inside of this, and you don't want to do that. So, but anyways, I got it apart. Let's see, it takes 1, 2, 3 batteries, so that's 3, 4.5 volts to operate the radio, and then it takes 1 AA battery to operate the clock, from what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is turn on my bench power supply. We're going to take it to 4.5 volts. And let's see, ground is going to be this side, like our little antenna lead here going to the radio. Ground's going to be this side, if I can get the clip on good enough, and positive to this side. Okay, I'm not drawing a whole lot of amps. Let's see if we can get this thing to turn on and operate. Hey, I don't know if y'all can hear that, so I'll turn off my filter. Filters are turned off now.
Tonight with our PR rocks the kill. And Eddie, just start the message with Mike or Michael.
So it sounds to me like FM is working. I wouldn't call it a lot of good reception, but it does sound like it's working. Switch it to AM. Volume seems to work okay. Let's turn that off. I'll put my filters back on. Turn back on noise suppression. There we go. You can tell the difference right there. So I would say the radio is working pretty well. Let's take this down to 1.5 volts. Of course, with the reception in my office being very, very poor on AM, I have to take it outside to see if we can get any AM station. Okay, so we're now going to go across these terminals as well that need to be replaced for our clock. Yeah, and it's come right to life. I don't know how good timekeeping it will be, but yeah, I think at this point it's safe to say that really all I need to do, I gotta take this front face plate off now and get this retained back in. That was a poor decision. Don't do that. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that really I just need to clean this up and replace those terminals. And I think these terminals right here can just get cleaned up. These are going to be fully replaced, but I'll probably use what's that? Pretty decent B7000 right here. At least around the border of this to hopefully make it a little bit waterproof again. But you know, I'm not going to go through here and replace any caps. I don't think there needs to be at this time. It might eventually need to get done, but for, you know, for a kid's little alarm clock and radio, I think it's going to be just fine. Okay, so at this point it is time to you know, get this thing cleaned up and terminals replaced, and get that one knob back on, and hopefully not lose my mind doing it. And yeah, we'll get it operating off of batteries. so here we have it. Again, I don't know how well the clock keeps time. It's a kid's toy. I think it will serve its purpose. The alarm does work. I did set it behind the hour hand, so that can get set up. If I was to do anything different, a couple notes. I wouldn't use rubbing alcohol to clean the faceplate. It removes the paint, as you can see in some areas. So I would withhold using rubbing alcohol, use something else, not paint safe. Radio works.
Hand in hand.
Of course, you can switch between AM and FM. But I don't get great AM reception in my office with so much test equipment and switch mode power supplies and stuff. So perhaps I can use this to see where I can get good AM reception in my house. This rubber, actually this stuff right here, this is rubber. I don't know if you can tell by me pressing on it up here on the top. You can see it flexing in, but everywhere else that rubber is turned to hard plastic, so it's become very brittle. But anyways, yeah, actually now I want to see if I can get AM reception somewhere in the house. Hold on a second. Alright, here we go on AM. Actually, there's FM again.
Of greatness. And, you know, as we've had interviews...
Here goes AM.
...with Caitlin... Song is... Where are all the songs about? Looking for love sucks.
So yeah, I can pick up AM in my living room, but let me show you what I mean by poor reception in my bedroom. Then maybe it's also possible that the radio could use an IF alignment, but for now, I would say it's good enough for a kid's radio/alarm clock. So I'll carry this in my house. We'll walk into my office and you'll see how quickly I lose AM reception.
So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. California psychics.
So I'm apartment hunting and having this debate with a landlord.
Like I said, no pets. Just
in the office.
Or familial status, call the HUD hotline, 1-800-669-9777, or go to hud.gov/fairhousing.
At least I know where in my house I get good AM reception for testing those vintage radios once I'm done aligning them. It's gonna have to be the kitchen, out towards my back patio. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed watching it, well, I'll boil down to some bad battery terminals that had a lot of corrosion that needed to get replaced. You can buy those replacements off of like Amazon. They're like pennies to $1 essentially, versus taking a lot of time to build all your own. But other than my bit of a mess up using rubbing alcohol, I'm pretty happy with getting this back operational. In fact, it didn't work before, but now it does. And now my kids have a little radio alarm clock that they can make use in their bedroom just in time for school to start back up. So yay! Anyways, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know how you enjoyed it in the comment section. And take care and goodbye. bark.